because they'll get killed or beat up for it. And he was there, doing all this free dental work. He actually donated a bunch of equipment he brought down there with a group of dentists and doctors he went down there with. But while he was there, he was telling me about this, and I knew about it, so I did a couple hours of research on it that night when I got home. The Amish, or the Mennonites, out of Europe and Russia in the last 100 years, about 80,000 of them down there, and they supply about half the food to the rest of the population, which is tens of millions. And they're up in the North Desert area, the Chaco, which nobody could ever develop. They just wanted to be left alone. And then now they supply half the food and milk, eggs, cheese, everything to the people. And the UN has showed up and is saying they're environmental evil and trying to shut them down because they're actually trying to run slave farms in Paraguay. And everywhere you go, it's UN, non-governmental mafia. They did the same thing in Mexico. 25 years ago or so, all over Mexico, UN biosphere signs, the concierge at the hotel selling you UN land. First land ever in Mexico, in a loophole in their constitution they made where you can buy land from Mexicans who it was stolen from. You wonder why there's 30 million Mexicans in Mexico City. It was like 10 million 20 years ago. You wonder why there's maquiladoras all along our border. You wonder why our wages have gone down? Because the globalists that run our country have absolutely decimated Mexico and forced the hardworking, smart, good, indigenous people off their land, and then they're sent up to Mexico City and brainwashed that America did it, when it's actually the banks that have gotten America that did it. But it looks true, because in a way it is America that did it, and because we let the globalists do this, and now they're going to use the people they've uprooted. They bring them here, fill them full of anti-U.S. vitriol, la reconquista, la infosora, put them on welfare, teach them guns are bad, all this stuff's bad, vote for the Democratic Party, communism basically, and that's how the globalists are going to bring the U.S. down. And that's what they've done. And then I spent hours researching the Mennonites down there in Paraguay. Some of them got there in the 1850s, more in the 1820s, 30s, and then after World War II, some more came. Because Stalin was kicking everybody off their farms and not letting you grow your own food and making you have military service. So the Mennonites, a lot of them got killed trying to leave. But the Mennonites, some of them walked out of Ukraine, walked out of Russia, got help from U.S. Mennonites, got on ships out of Europe, went all the way down, landed. Most of them ended up dying of typhoid and things. I think the Pilgrims, half of them died. Most of them died and just kept in the desert, hand-digging wells, hitting salt water, moving on, finally finding the biggest aquifer in South America. Boom, built this whole system, kept their culture intact, and the UN, just type UN Mennonites Paraguay. The UN is in there battering ramming. David Rockefeller's there. The Bushes bought land just by that area. That's where all the narcotics trafficking is going on. This is openly discussed when my dad was there, but if you go research it. All of Sun Yun Moon has bought 1 million acres. They're all down there, and the UN is coming in trying to run the Mennonites out. And there's all these articles, the evil Mennonites, they turn the desert green. They're horrible. It's evil. It's unsustainable giving the Paraguayans food. It's the population's growing because of these Mennonites. The same thing with Gaddafi. Wasn't a perfect guy. I don't like him, but our government put al-Qaeda in there. He was stabilizing all of Africa. It only takes a little bit of roads and infrastructure to build something up, and that Western information went into Paraguay and is helping them. Okay, I'm done ranting about the destruction of our borders and the globalist plan. But the globalists are for it, just like they're for endless wars. The UN in Latin America and in Africa publicly machine guns people, publicly comes in and takes land for the environment and kills them. I had Lord Monckton on Friday about that, re-aired it Sunday on the Sunday show that's live, but we ran rebroadcast Sunday. All of this is going on. All of this is happening, and it's like, but it's the UN, so they're allowed to do this. The UN ran the Rwandan massacre. The UN is involved in all of this. It was set up by the robber barons through the Pentagon in 1945 by the Department of Defense. It is a front group for this global corporate managerial system. The empires of old that believed in eugenics out of Europe, went underground through internationalism. And everything they do is about controlling the development of technology, blocking what they call disruptive technologies. That's anything that builds up humanity and makes individuals independent. There is a war against independence and a war against national sovereignty. And Mexico, Canada, and the U.S. are having their sovereignty destroyed, just like Europe is. Now, I'm going to come back with Ben Fuchs here in studio. I haven't even given the number out, but I notice we have loaded phones. Phones are always ringing. And we'll get to everybody that's there on whatever issue you want to raise. But I've run out of time now before Fuchs gets on with us. What a treat to have him in studio. I wanted to point out to Prisonplanet.tv viewers, you can actually see it. But for radio listeners, you go to Infowars.com. You can get all 18 of my films on DVD, Infowars.com, and In the Fed bumper stickers, and a Citizen's Rule Book for $99.95. That is 70% off the normal price. We've never had any special this low. And it's a great way to do all your Christmas shopping without fighting the crowds and the lines, and educate people and support our broadcast and all the other work we do in one fell swoop. I cannot stress enough, when you purchase books, videos, T-shirts, all of it, it not only brings you to another level of understanding and give you another tool to wake people up, it funds the radio show, the nightly news, the news websites. We are the tip of the spear. We are the biggest independent media operation out there, exposing the New World Order, no holds barred. And we have the most courage. You're not going to hear folks come out and call Eric Holder a murderer. He is one. He's a dangerous gangster, and I'm going to call him what he is. We need your support, so thank you for standing right beside us by supporting us and taking advantage of the Alex Jones Everything Special that we're running through Christmas. You can order, if your order is in by Sunday night, and we get it out on Monday, you can get it before Christmas guaranteed inside the United States. So, again, get those orders in by this Sunday coming up, Infowars.com or 888-253-3139, 888-253-3139. And finally, 9 years in April. It'll be 9 years of Prisonplanet.tv. We've upgraded it. It works like a charm now, even at peak times. High-def, actual high-def files in there. All of my films, expanded extras, my book, Paul Watson's book, the higher quality podcast, the nightly news, that some nights is 2 hours long. I mean, you talk about work and research and high production value. It's just all poured into it. You like what we do here on the radio? You think it's informative? You ain't seen nothing yet. Prisonplanet.tv, or find it by going to InfoWarsNews.com. We have a special, which is 44% off. You pay for 6.7 months, you get 5.3 months free. That's a special I came up with years ago. We do every Christmas. It comes out to 5.3 months free, 44% off on a yearly membership, prisonplanet.tv. And you can share your passcode with up to 5 people simultaneously logged on. So it's really like buying 6 memberships when you get one, 15 cents a day, prisonplanet.tv membership. And know that you support the front line of the info war against the globalists. We can beat these people. Third hour straight ahead. Stay with us. All right. Tyson and others, your calls are coming up here. We got Ben Fuchs, really an amazing expert on nutrition. He is a pharmacist that I know Aaron Dykes and others have put into effect with incredible results. I've put it into effect and lost 10 pounds. Though you can't tell, I'm so chubby. But that's coming up right now. Let's go ahead and talk to Tyson in Utah. Thanks for holding, Tyson. You're on the air.
Hi, Alex. I'm a first-time caller. I just wanted to share a little experience that I had in 2008. I was what I saw was something that led me to believe that there are either FEMA camps or detention facilities near my home. I was driving down University Avenue in Provo, Utah, and as I was driving by a rail yard, there were 2 pilot cars that pulled out into the street and stopped traffic. And as I watched, they were followed by some semi-trailers that were loaded with these concrete boxes. And I naturally quite curious, so I followed these semi-trailers to see what they might be hauling, and would pull on both sides of the trailers and looked really close. And it looked to me like large concrete boxes. Each had 2 steel doors, and they had barred windows. And
yeah, no, sir. They have those for the last decade. The government's been building them as fast as they can, and that's exactly what they have on these general camps. Then they have areas where they lock you up. They've been photographed many times. They're like old-fashioned jails. And this is for just setting up prisons very, very quickly.
Yeah, it was extremely frightening. But see, denial set in after I saw this, and I totally put it aside until one day, less than a year later, I was on YouTube and I noticed a video of the exact same thing that I saw. Somebody else in my area took photos of this as they were being unloaded and loaded onto the trailers. Yeah,
I forget what you call them, mobile jails, concrete jails. They've been photoed and videoed all over the country. And they are at some of these decommissioned bases. But none of this is rumors now. They admit they're hiring the internment specialist. They've built the camps. Now they're moving to have groups on standby to man them. This is all official. And the mainstream media will not touch it because they are complicit. Just like they won't say Corzine's a crook. They are complicit in the organized crime takeover of America. But there's still a lot of free speech. There's still a lot of good people in the country. And folks are waking up.
Yeah, if the viewers will type in portable prisons in Utah, what I saw will pop up and you can see the...
Yeah, guys, type in portable prisons Utah for me, please. We'll put that on screen. Yeah, if you're a Prisonplanet.tv viewer, you'll be able to see this, but everybody else, yeah, portable prisons Utah. I've seen it all over the country. In fact, some of these we know have been loaded on ships and taken overseas. We know they have these... there was a massacre less than a year into the Afghan invasion where they put in one night 3,000 people in these... standing room only, and then it's a form of crucifixion to where you couldn't breathe and you couldn't lay down, and it killed them all within 3 days. Can you imagine how painful that is? They cram you in. People don't know what's happening when it's happening. It's a form of murder. I mean, it's an old-fashioned form of killing, and they cram you in. And I see the photo. There's even more powerful ones that show the bars. I don't even know if that's what those are. But it looks like prefab something. And they cram you in standing until it's like the phone booth game, and then they close the door, and it's like, you're going to die now. And they just walk off and leave. And I remember it came out, well, it was in BBC and AP, that when they did this, after 3 days, they opened the doors to create a mass grave, and one guy was alive and ran off, and they machine gunned him, but then they had to write a report on it. Just like that. Yeah, there's from prisonplanet.com. Okay, thank you so much for that information, sir. We'll be right back. Stay with us. Hey, if you're not for killing Pat Tillman, you're not patriotic. If you're not for shipping guns into Mexico to blame the Second Amendment, you're not patriotic. We ought to be glad to have people like this criminal government. We are now into hour number 3 here today. And joining us in studio is pharmacist Ben Fuchs. You know, Ben, you've got a lengthy bio, but I never even seem to get into it. I just start throwing out my questions. I just want to say you've done a great job. Aaron Dykes listens to your show, has followed a lot of what you've done. He's lost 50, 60 pounds. He's going to be interviewing you tonight on the Nightly News. And then, of course, we're going to tape some more of it and re-air it later in the week because I want to do a lengthy interview with you where we're not, just here on the radio constrained by ads and the amount of time that we have. But I think the fact that you break down the issue that the system knows what they're doing. I mean, a great example is breast cancer. We know what's going on with breast cancer. We know that they always talk about, hey, let's find a cure for it, instead of asking, why does the U.S. lead the world in it and every other form of cancer? Instead of finding out why we're getting cancer, they just talk about treating it once you get it. And I think with that statement, that opens up the door to understand the fact that they want to treat the illness. They don't want to stop you from getting the illness.
Well, do you ever wonder why drug companies and Kentucky Fried Chicken and fast food operations sponsor things like Race for the Cure and the Susan